Good evening, everyone. This is Megan Penley Pickett from the Heartland Institute of Financial Education's College Coaching Program. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to our first of two monthly sessions called The Value of the College Coaching Program. Again, my name is Megan Penley Pickett. I serve as the Dean of Education for our college coaching program. I have served as a coach and am now in a different role for the past year or so. So glad to see some familiar names on here. Maybe you are joining us and you are a consultant. Maybe you are thinking about becoming a consultant. Maybe you are thinking about joining the program for yourself or your student. Hopefully I will answer all of your questions tonight. So what I am going to be doing is I have a PowerPoint presentation, so I'm going to share my screen with you, go through the overview about our program, really directed at if you are enrolling in the program. Again, if you are on here in a consultant fashion or in a consultant role, and you have questions specifically about how that refers to you as a consultant or how that affects you as a consultant, there will be time for questions and answers at the end. I will also share our contact information at the end. So just keep that in mind. If something comes up for you, feel free to go ahead and put that in the chat box. Most of us are probably more familiar now than ever with Zoom, but for those of you who are curious about that, if you are on a laptop or a desktop, at the bottom you can click on chat. If you kind of just scroll over the bottom, some options will pop up for you. So you can click on chat and you can go ahead and type that in. Or if you're on your phone, I believe you have to swipe over a couple of times, but there is an option to put a chat in there as well. Or when we get to the end, you can unmute yourself because you're all muted right now. You can unmute yourself and you can ask your question live. Like I tell everyone all the time, if you have that question, other people probably have that question as well. So don't be afraid to unmute yourself. I'm going to save all of the questions until the end. So even if you have them during the program, that's absolutely fine to put them in the chat if you want to type that in. And then I will make sure that I will do my best to get to those at the end. And again, I will share my contact information then as well. We are recording tonight's program, and so that will be available again if you are a consultant. That will be made available on the consultant team site. If you are not a consultant and you're considering becoming a consultant, or if you are a potential enrolling family or student, you can either contact the consultant who invited you to this evening's event, or if you are joining us through our social media. If you are looking for a copy of this, you can email me. Again, I'll get you my contact information at the end, and I will make sure that once this gets translated from a Zoom meeting to a YouTube link, that you get that link. Without further ado, my friends, I am going to get started. Okay, I'm going to move this over because I have it on a different screen of my computer. I have the fancy home setup, right, where you have all of your different screens, but it's never the one that I want to be looking at. So give me just a second, and I'm going to do this again now that we are on the right screen. Hopefully, if somebody can give me a thumbs up, you're seeing something that says Value of College Coaching in front. Is that correct? Great, I'm getting some thumbs up. That's just what I wanted to hear. All right. So here we go. And if you can see me and I'm not looking at you, it's because I'm looking at my different screen. So keep going. So we are talking about the value of the college coaching program this evening. I'm actually going to stop my video so I don't distract myself. And so what we are really talking about is, again, that overview of our college coaching program. We are getting into the thick of it. If you are a senior in high school, excuse me, if you're a senior in high school, we're really ramping up right that time to get in, to start getting those applications in. If you're a freshman in college, boy, oh boy, are you dealing with some interesting times, right? Getting out there, making those decisions. And anywhere from 8th grade up through 12th grade. Everyone in education is dealing with something different right now. So that is really what our program is here to talk about. That's what our coaches do. So we're going to get into how we do that. So really start paying attention and thinking about, how does this affect me? How does this affect my student? So this is who we are. We are the Heartland Institute of Financial Education. We are a national 501c3 nonprofit in the US, and our mission is to promote financial literacy on a global scale. We believe wholeheartedly that that begins with really looking at how do we finance and figure out how to pay for higher education in whatever form that comes, so we are not paying on that forever. If you are parents, if you are students, that you are not then paying on that forever. What we provide on our college coaching program side of the Heartland Institute, which we call HIFA, so Heartland Institute of Financial Education, HIFA for short, I will say that quite a bit during our presentation this evening. We will assign each student a college planning coach who works directly with them and their parents, assisting with college or university planning, admissions, financial aid process, and all of the things that go into that. And how do we deliver this program? It is, and always has been since its inception, a fully online program. Our services are delivered via email, online meetings such as this, and over the phone. Here's our general information. If you want to screenshot this or take a picture with your phone, excuse me, I have to remember to drink water, and I always do it at inopportune breaks. This is our general information. This is a great email, cpp@hife-usa.org. That's a really great way to get in contact with us. You can also check out all of the program overviews that I am going over tonight at collegecoaching.org. And we would love if you liked us on Facebook. It's no strings attached to that. You're not committing to anything other than getting information. We put a lot of information out there on our social media platforms to make sure, especially during these unprecedented times, that students and families are getting the information they need to be making informed decisions for what their next steps on their educational journey could be. So the number one challenge when we're thinking about college planning, when we're talking about what comes next when it comes to higher education, the number one challenge is the rising cost of college. The cost of college has risen over 25% in the last 10 years. You can see here on your screen, this is just the average, and this was the average this last academic year, so 2019-2020, and I promise it's not going down for the 2020-2021 year, but the average cost of in-state public institutions is over $23,000. You can see that breakdown here. So for those of you who are in the process of looking at colleges and universities, you're going to want to look at some of these breakdowns when you are doing your research. So this average of $23,000 is made up of a line item of tuition, a room and board, so that's if you're living on campus, what your book fees are, and then there are miscellaneous fees, which we don't know. Sometimes that's going to be your athletic fee, sometimes it is for technology or transportation. Now you may say, well, we're not going to live on campus, so it's going to be a lot less money. That may be true. You have to think about, am I going to be able to have a car on campus? What does that cost? What does public transportation cost? What does it look like if I'm a commuter student and I'm going to be on campus all day? Do they have food options? How can I take? So just start thinking about those things as you are putting together sort of that net cost of college. You can see again, out of state public institutions is almost $40,000 a year, with private schools, regardless if you live in state or not, topping over $50,000, which results in students graduating with an average debt of $32,000, almost $33,000. Now that's just the average, right? We have some students who are coming out with a lot more and some students that are coming out with a lot less. So that is what our program helps figure out, is how much do you have to spend on it? What is it really worth it to you? How can you make the most of this money? And how can you spend the least amount of money putting together financial aid packages that are going to make sense to you and your family? The real cost of college and university really comes in when students are taking longer than 4 years to get that bachelor's degree. We typically call that the 4-year degree plan, right? And so we call a lot of our colleges and universities 4 year degree granting universities versus our community colleges or junior colleges, which are 2-year degree granting institutions, and they award associate's degrees. So, and there's a lot of options. There's a lot of ways to put that together to move from community college to a 4-year institution. But when we say a 4-year institution, it's a little misleading because the average time it takes a student to graduate with their bachelor's is 5.5 years. Okay, sometimes, right, some people are like, well, that's the college experience. Kids don't really know what they want to be doing. They want to move around. They want to make different decisions. I worked at a university for 15 years with undergraduate and graduate students. I know that to be true. But when we are thinking about what's the difference between graduating in 4 years and what's the difference between graduating in 5.5 years, you can see here that real cost is 1.5 years of full cost of school, which again, this is just basing it on that average of the public institution cost. Again, almost $35,000. That student is losing wages of about 1.5 years, which is almost $78,000 a year. So that comes up to almost $112,000 a year extra for that 1.5 years with your extra cost of college and the wages that you're missing out on. $112,000 for a 1.5 years of school, plus any debt that you are incurring, based on your loans, based on how long you have to get in there. So when you think about that $112,000 additional for that 1.5 years of school, how much is college planning really going to be worth to you? There's different types of financial aid that are going to help offset or help that student really get through college. So you have federal aid, that's the FAFSA form, that's coming up on October 1st. That's opening up for first time people who are applying for the first time. Excuse me, and so that is opening up. You fill this out in the fall of your senior year. So if you are younger than a senior in high school, you don't have to worry about the October 1 date for this year, but it is something to think about. So that federal aid is in that bucket. You also have state aid in some of our states, like California has the Cal Grant. There's private scholarships and grants. Lots go into this. There's lots of ways. It's almost like a second job for students to really look into private scholarships and grants. But I guarantee that it's worth it because not everybody is looking into that. And not everybody wants to take the opportunity to fill out the essays and those types of things. So that's another bucket. Then you have your school-specific aid. So once students are admitted into their colleges or universities, then that college or university is going to come back with, here's a financial aid package, and all of them are going to look different. They are going to have, here's some loans, here's some merit scholarship, here's X, Y, and Z, and so that's what's going to give you that package from that specific school. And then you're going to have loans. There's a couple of different types of loans. We're not going to go into all of that tonight, but you do want to know that that is there, and that is a great way to pay for college and university. But again, you want to make sure that you are then maximizing your opportunities in college to graduate on time, and by on time we mean in 4 years. So you don't have to incur extra charges, you don't have to lose those wages, and you're not paying extra on those loans. And what our program really does is help you to figure out how to maximize your opportunities to find your best option. We offer webinars on how to fill out your FAFSA form. We send different scholarships and grants. We provide essay reviews for your scholarship essay applications. We help you figure out and decipher what that aid package is from the specific school and help you decide what is the best option for you when it comes to subsidized and unsubsidized loans and private loans and all of those things that go up to make how you are going to pay for college and university. The second challenge when it comes to planning for the future is choosing a career. Students don't even know where to start. A lot of students, right, are going to say, well, I'm going to choose what mom and dad do or what my great uncle or our family friend does. A lot of students say, I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, go into business. If you're a little younger, like my kids, you might want to be an astronaut. You might want to be a fireman, a firewoman, in law enforcement, whatever it might be. But there usually seems to be about 5 or 10 jobs that everybody knows about. And those are the jobs that our students start thinking about. So where do they even start? Well, I am in education and I have kids in the public education system, and my brain would initially say, well, they're going to talk to their high school guidance counselor. They are a great start. I think our high school guidance counselors do a phenomenal job working with the resources they have, bringing that information to their students. But their average caseload is 455 students. That doesn't leave a lot of time for one-on-one exploration. It doesn't leave a lot of time for helping that student really figure out what do they value, what do they want to do, what are the different options in what they want to do, and how do they get there. And really, one of the main things that we talk with our students about is once they start figuring out what are those careers that they may want to do, will that career even be available to you when you graduate, right? Relevancy is key in that you want that job to be there and not be automated and not be going away on the downslope of things. So really thinking about that. And we also, you know, one of those challenges for students when they are choosing a career is thinking through which post-high school option is best. So college and university, at least right out of high school, is not for everyone. We believe it's for a lot of people, and yes, I honestly believe that it opens a lot of doors. I can also tell you that there are a lot of people who really would benefit from maybe not going to that 4-year college or university or even the 2-year, but going to maybe a trade or vocational training school. There's a big need, there's a huge need in the country right now for skilled trades. And so those don't tend to have a shelf life. And so that's something to think about dependent upon that student's interest. And maybe looking at that gap year. Obviously going into the 2020, 2021 year and beyond, that gap year might look a little bit differently, but this may be an opportunity for students to get internship opportunities or credit for them to get some hands-on experience in the area that they are thinking about as a career, maybe to travel with some intentionality. Again, that may look a little bit different in the next year or so, but there's a lot of ways to really be intentional with that gap year that would make the college or university later on a little bit more applicable to them and also help them narrow down what their career choice could be for them. The third major challenge is choosing a major. And the way that we really think about that in our program is working backwards. Once we identify the family of jobs or careers that students are interested in, we can help them translate that to what type of major. And so you really want to talk about what are they focusing on. Again, students are like, I want to be a business major. I want to be a foreign language major and maybe choosing Spanish or Chinese or French or something along those lines. Or I want to be in education. But without understanding really what goes into those careers that translate to those majors, we have 20 to 50% of students starting college that are undecided. That means that they are not getting set into a track at the very beginning. I'm a big fan of general education. I think that there's a lot of positive things that come from learning things that aren't in our wheelhouse. And if we spend too much time in general education with not being in a track and without a plan moving forward, we end up spending that money and spending that time on classes that are not going to get us to that degree. And so that is what is contributing to that additional year and a half, if not more, in college or university. 75% of students change their major at least once, with students changing their major an average of 3 times. Again, we know students are going to change their major. We know that there's going to be some switch ups there. But if you don't do that intentionally, then a lot of your classes that you have already taken up to that point are not going to count towards that degree. So you're going to spend more time and more money getting to the degree that you want to get, and you could have been doing that earlier on. And again, time equals money in this scenario. And the fourth major challenge when it comes to college planning or post-high school planning, probably a better way to say it, is college selection. How do I even choose? Again, most students really think, well, my friends went there, it's a party school. Sometimes that's a plus, sometimes it's a minus. maybe it's really close to home, maybe it's far from home, and that's something that they want to think about, right? Well, I live in Denver, Colorado, so a lot of our students are like that I've worked with are, well, I'll go to the University of Denver, CU Boulder, or Colorado State. There's lots and lots. There's 7 colleges and universities within 1 hour of my house, and sometimes students don't know about them. And so if this sounds familiar to you, if you have any students who are thinking about college or university, it's oftentimes they are just kind of pointing at a map, or somebody's cousin went there, or their friend from high school went there, or mom and dad went there. But that's not really the best way to do that. And we're going to talk about what the best way is to figure out which college to go to in a minute. Students are wondering, how many schools do I apply to? It costs to apply to schools. And you want to make sure that you have a plan, so you're not throwing away money on schools that you may not be admitted to, or have a very low chance of being admitted to, or that you're not going to thrive in. There are environments that you are built to thrive in, and there are environments that are going to be counterintuitive to that. So we want to help you figure out what that is. 25% of undergraduate students transfer schools. And again, we know that's going to happen, but every time you do that, time equals money. You may have taken a Math 101 class at College A. It may or may not transfer to College B. You have to take that class again. Again, time and money. Those are the biggest things that come up. Those are the themes when we're not planning for education and we are just waiting until the end to say, well, let's just do it like this. Those are some of the challenges that really come up for us. And again, it comes back to time and money. So what's your plan, my friends? How much time do you have for that plan? You can see on here, if you are starting your 9th grade year, your first year of high school, there's 720 days until college. If you're starting your senior year, you have 180 days until college. And so it's not as much time as we think, and we can help you utilize and maximize that time to your absolute benefit. If you are a 12th grader and you have not enrolled in this program yet and you're not sure what your plan is, we have a plan for you, and we'll meet you where you're at, and we will get you on track, and you will be so excited to work this plan that you will have this huge anxiety taken off of your shoulders. And so let me talk to you a little bit about how our program works. Let me take a drink of water first. Again, our program is designed to work with students from the middle of their 8th grade year up through any point in time on their college journey. It's designed primarily for our 8th grade through 12th grade years. We also have programs that work the same way and focus on the same items, but for our students who are already in college, or students who transition from high school into college, or students who are returning to school as adult learners, or maybe they are coming back, they're in the workforce and want to finish a degree, or perhaps they are looking for a master's, a doctorate, a JED, anything along those lines. And so that's who our program works with. We offer one-on-one individualized attention with an average caseload of 65 students. So our program is delivered by our college planning coaches. And so we have a great team of coaches, well, I'll talk about in a minute, but when we're talking about the average caseload, we're talking about the average caseload of our college planning coaches. We strategize to maximize academic options in high school. This really means looking at what classes are available. How can the student take the most rigorous academic classes based on their academic level? How can they up-level that, if that maybe is advanced placement or AP classes, interbaccalaureate or IB classes. Maybe there's an opportunity to take honors classes, anything along those lines, AP advanced placement classes. So we can figure out what is going to be next and really provide that accountability to challenge students, to challenge themselves. So then when they are in the position of applying to schools, colleges and universities can see that they challenge themselves. So we start helping students maximize their academic options in high school as early as the middle of 8th grade. We also work with students in guiding them on having a well-rounded experience in high school. It not only provides a richer experience for that student, meeting new friends, meeting and connecting with different advisors and teachers and coaches that are on at their high school, and really getting out there, meeting people in their community, it creates a lot more opportunities for them. So it does have a richer experience. And it also creates that, has that student become an outstanding admissions candidate. We provide hands-on career-focused research, so a little bit of what I was talking about, but regardless of when we start working with that student, we put them through this assessment that really comes together with what they value, what they think about work, and what they believe their skills and strengths are. It gives them a way to really start researching and narrowing down the different careers and jobs that are available to them. Now, they're not locked into any of those, because I don't know about any of you, but when I was in the 9th grade, being the dean of education for a college coaching program wasn't even on my radar. It's like that for a lot of our students as well, but we teach them how to do that research, get that career-focused research, and get that hands-on, whether that is a job or an internship, having a conversation with someone who is in that field to really figure out what's a day in the life of someone who's in business. What is it like for someone who is working as an elementary school teacher or a nurse or a fill in the blank, right? We want them to start having those conversations early on to make sure that each step of the way when they're making decisions, it's an informed decision, and they're not going to feel like, oh my gosh, I wanted to be a nurse when I was in 11th grade, and that sophomore or junior year of college is the first time I had an experience, and then I passed out at the sight of blood. We probably could have figured that out earlier on with that hands-on experience. Again, we talked about that financial aid navigation, and so we really dig into that with students. We can't promise that they will get any scholarships or what their financial aid packages are going to look like, because it's not our responsibility to deliver those, right? We are not the ones who are giving away the money. Let me be clear about that. What it is our responsibility to do is provide the resources to students so they know how to do the research, that we are offering the ability to review and provide feedback on those all important essays for the scholarships, and to help them discern what's a great package for them that's going to result in the least amount of debt for them and for their family. Again, those tailored college searches to fit the needs of the student. What type of school, what area, do you want it to be big, do you want it to be small, public, private? Make sure it has the major that you're looking for. You would be surprised at how often students are looking at colleges and universities. They go through the process of getting accepted, and then they realize that the major that they want, that college or university doesn't provide it. So we make sure that that is one of the first things that we are looking at. And then again, we provide essay review. This is for both the college and university applications as well as the scholarship applications. So if you're in our comprehensive program, that has unlimited essay review for you. And right now, given the climate of how college admissions is going, that essay is becoming an even more important part of the puzzle, because some of the other factors are being waived, or students are unable to take maybe those entrance exams, or our transcripts look a little bit different than they have in the past because of virtual learning and remote learning options. So those essays are taking on an even bigger percentage and even more importance than they have in the past. Here are just some of our results. Obviously, we didn't put everything up here, but some of our results that we experienced in the 2019, or our students experienced in the 2019-2020 academic year, is our students are graduating college in an average of 4 years. We had over $20 million in scholarship dollars awarded to our students, with over $350,000 in reevaluation dollars. What that reevaluation means is, again, in that financial aid package from the specific schools, let's just say, you know, I get a package back and it says, "Dear Megan, you have $10,000 in awards from," I went to Ball State University, so I feel safe saying that. I got $10,000 from Ball State. I can say, "That's great, thank you so much." There's still a significant financial gap for myself and my family. And so what the coach can do is walk that student and family through how to get a reevaluation letter. And so it's providing a letter to the financial aid office, to the admissions officers, setting up a meeting if that's applicable, setting up a phone call or a Zoom call if that's applicable, and saying, I really appreciate this award. There's still a significant financial gap. Are there other scholarships I can apply for? Is there any other money that's on the table that I would be eligible for? And so in this past year, our students were awarded over $350,000 in reevaluation money alone. We reviewed and provided feedback on over 2,000 essays. Students, so this isn't, we tend to focus on what our results are for our seniors that are going into and being accepted into college. But we also, because those are the easiest ones to put up here, those are the ones that are easiest to quantify. What also is important is that for our underclass students, our 8th grade through 11th grade students, that there's a lot of benefits for them as well. Some of these essays are for scholarships, are for our younger students when they age into those opportunities. And we do have students that were accepted into elite summer camps and internships. We actually had a student who was accepted into a very elite internship at the CDC. Unfortunately for that student, given the climate, he was not able to go into that internship, but he was accepted into that, and he's able to build those relationships with his would-be supervisors, and hopefully we'll be able to return to that. Our students were accepted in over 262 different schools, including, you can see all of these up here. There are other ones that are on there. We did have a student who was actually accepted at Ball State University, which makes me very happy. Go Cardinals. But, you know, and all across the country. But these are the ones that I chose to share with you this evening. Now, who are our coaches? We often get this question. Our coaches are educators with 20 plus years in the workforce. They come from all walks of life. They come from higher education, from K-12 education, from hotel, from HR, all across the board. They're all fully vetted and trained, and they're all student focused. At the end of the day, our coaches are dedicated to providing the highest level of service and the most amount of information and resources to our students to make sure that they have what they need to answer their questions and make the best decisions on their educational journey as possible. We have a few new options. This can get really confusing, especially when I start talking about it. So I'm going to go over this briefly and remind you that when you have some questions later on, and what was that program and what was that program, you can go to collegecoaching.org, and all of these program options are laid out for you. So you can see here at the top, we have what we call our comprehensive program. This is the program, this is our signature program that has been around since the inception of the college coaching program. This is for 1 full year, 12 months of coaching. And so that cost for that is currently $24.95. It's typically $26.95, but we have a special going through the end of September for $24.95. That is for the first year. Every subsequent year after that, that you renew your comprehensive program, it's only $500. And so if you are a younger student or a family with a younger student who's thinking, maybe 9th grade or 8th grade or 10th grade or something is too early to get involved and I don't want to pay this money, think about it. If you're in 9th grade, you pay $24.95 now, plus another $500 for sophomore, $500 for junior, and $500 for senior year. So that's a pretty good bargain to make sure that you're maximizing those options. You're learning how to navigate financial aid. You're following the monthly recommendations, and you have access to our special webinars as well as access to a coach at all times. Again, via email, but you have access to that coach. So that's our comprehensive program. What we also did is break it down into some program options. So you can see that we have 5 options here: career assessment and guidance, college selection and admissions guidance, financial aid navigation, application and essay review, and post-high school planning. These first 4 cost $649, with this last one costing $349. Each of these comes with that Cooter assessment, so that's the assessment I was talking about early on. And it is not unlimited when it comes to your access to your coach. But what you do get is 4 30-minute sessions, either on the phone or Zoom, much like this meeting, with your coach, and that's delivered over 8 weeks. So these are time bound, and they're really designed to fit a niche need that you have in your college planning. It's a great way to get started in the program and see if it's something that you are interested in. And if you are really only looking for one of these pieces, this is a really great way to get involved and to get that help. Just remember, again, the comprehensive program is for a full 12 months with unlimited access to your coach. Each of these options is 4 30-minute sessions with your coach, and it's delivered in no more than 2 months or 8 weeks, same amount of time there. So this is where it can get confusing. So again, check out collegecoaching.org. And if after this program, anybody has any questions, I'm happy to go over what some of these pieces are. So your next steps are to enroll in the college coaching program. And so if you were invited tonight by a college planning consultant, you can work with them on enrolling in the program. If you found us through social media or you want to work with us directly, you can do that. You can do that at collegecoaching.org is where you can sign up. You can also contact me directly and I can walk you through that program. Payment options are available for the comprehensive program. Each of the options you do need to pay in full, but if you do the comprehensive program, you can break that down into a couple of different payment options. And if you enroll in the next day or so, you can begin working with the coach in less than 5 business days. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. And especially for those of you who are seniors, who are looking at what am I going to do next, this is a great time to get involved. You are right at the finish line. So get involved, make sure that you're getting those right decisions made and that you get walked through the FAFSA process, the scholarship essay reviews, the application reviews, and all of the things that come along with it. Some upcoming webinars that we have coming up, we do have an essay writing, how to stand out in the crowd. That is coming up this Wednesday, September 16th. You can see the times there. We are located in the Rocky Mountain region. So everything I talk about, I will say it's at 5 o'clock in the evening, right? Because it's Mountain Standard Time. But you can see your time zone there. And we also have a FAFSA webinar that's coming up on Tuesday, October 6th. We have 2 different times for this to try to help meet the needs, one of the large number of people that we usually have come to this event, as well as for people who are in different time zones. So the first one is at, again, Mountain Standard Time, 5:30 that evening, with the second one being at 7:30. Again, Mountain Standard Time, so check out that there. These are all held on Zoom. If you have questions about what those Zoom links are, it didn't make sense to put all that gobbledygook up here. If you are a consultant or you're working with the consultant, they can shoot you that information. It's also located on our Facebook page, so Haifa College Planning Program. You can find us on Facebook there, and it will have the Zoom links. You just need to register. There's no cost associated with it, but with some of the additional security features for Zoom, we do ask that people do register, and you can do that right up until that program starts. These will be recorded as well, and they will be sent out to our families who are enrolled in the program. That is this. I'm going to jump out for questions and answers, but I just want to say thank you. Again, here is our contact information. Here's where you can send us an email at cpp@hife-usa.org. You can find a lot of information here at collegecoaching.org. You can enroll here. You can check out what the different options are, as well as reach out and contact us. And then again, you can find us on Facebook at Hife College Coaching Program. This is going to be one of the best ways to find that information and to stay up to date, not only with what we are offering, but with some different changing things that are happening in the world of education right now. So I am going to stop sharing. And I'm going to check out what is happening on the chat line. So somebody's asking, can I share this PowerPoint? And right now, I'm not sharing this particular, let me show my face here. I'm not sharing this particular PowerPoint because we use it for this evening's events. I'm sorry, for the value of college coaching program, but everything that I have talked about, we have in some other ones. So Wendy, if you have any questions specific for me, that's absolutely fine. You can get in touch with me and we can see if there are certain slides that would be good for you to have for your presentation. So great question. So what questions do people have that I can answer for you? I'm going to take a drink of water. You feel free to put it in the chat or unmute yourself and ask your question live. See some people, it looks like people are trying to maybe unmute themselves. There we go, Chris.
Yeah, I was just, so these meetings that you have here for people, is this a weekly meeting that happens?
Great question, thank you. So this particular one, the value of the college coaching program, we do twice a month.
Twice a month, okay.
It's Monday, so we do it on the second Monday of the month at this time, and then we do it on the fourth Tuesday. So not the last Tuesday, but the fourth Tuesday of the month at 8 p.m. Mountain Time.
Okay.
And if you're a consultant, it's on and they have different Zoom registration links on there, but it is on the consultant team site if you are a consultant. So
yeah, I'm a consultant. Yeah, okay, great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So then somebody is asking, do we have a flyer for the discount for this month? We don't have a flyer. We've been running this discount for a couple of months. Given that so much has been happening with COVID and with education in general, we've been wanting to make sure that this service and these options are available to people. So when people go in before, I think the 30th is the last day of the month in September. There is no discount code. You don't need that. What you'll do is choose and this is only for the comprehensive program, so you'll choose that, put it in the cart, and then it will show up when you go to pay for it. So it'll still say $26.95, put it in the cart, the client will go to pay for that, and then it will show up with that discount. And that discount shows up whether they are paying in full or one of the options. So good question on that. What else is going on for people? Be sure to check out, I'm going to put my email in here. So I put it in the chat, and I will also tell it to you. So it's megan.pickett@hyphe-usa.org. So megan.pickett@hyphe-usa.org. Any of the emails that I shared with you this evening, it will eventually get to me. So if you don't send it directly to me, that's absolutely fine. If you send it to one of the other ones, it usually gets routed to me as well. So we have a question on here. I'm going to read it so everybody can get the context. If a client signs up for one package in September and later wants to do the comprehensive package, will they get the discount? That's a great question, and they will not get the discount unless we're running a discount on the comprehensive program. However, what they paid for, if they do it within the first 6 months, let's say in September they buy a package, and then within 6 months they decide they want that comprehensive package, we will apply what they paid for their option, that smaller package, to the comprehensive program. So that money doesn't just get thrown away. I mean, they're obviously going to get the services, but we will apply that again if they enroll in the comprehensive program within 6 months. Good question, Wendy. Thank you very much. Remember if you are not a fan of us on Facebook, and I know some people are like, well, I don't love social media, I totally get it, but a lot of people use that, and that's where we put out a lot of our sort of regular happenings and different articles that we come across and topics that are relevant to what's going on in the world right now. So that's, again, the Hyphe College Coaching Program. You can easily like us and you can follow us there. If you're a consultant, you obviously get some different emails and have access to the consultant team site, but this is another way, and then it's a way for you to share it maybe with your with your clients or direct them to that as well. If you are people, if you are folks on here that are considering enrolling in the program and you're not quite sure yet, that Facebook page is a really great way to see what we have going on, what webinars are coming up. A lot of our webinars are public webinars, especially because there's a lot that's happening in the world right now. Again, we want to make sure that people have information and at least get enough information to know what questions they need to ask of the resources that are in their life. So that's where we put a lot of our Zoom links and our registration links. It's all free. There's no strings attached. So that Facebook page is a really, really great way to get in contact with us, or you follow us and get that information out there. And then our website, it's for those of you who are consultants and have worked with us, I've talked about this website, but we've only had it for about 6 months. It was right pre-COVID. But it's collegecoaching.org. That's going to give you all of the information about our college coaching program versus what we had before, which is a great website, but you sort of had to dig around if it was the financial side, if it was the educator side, or if it was the college coaching program side. So this collegecoaching.org is really the one that you're going to want to direct clients to, and where you're going to get a little bit more information on our new options, and also has an enrollment form on there. So again, to recap, if other people have questions, feel free to interrupt me. I tend to fill time to make sure that people have enough opportunities to ask their questions, either in the text chat or unmuting themselves. But again, as a reminder, we have an essay coming up this Wednesday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, on essay writing. It is really geared towards our upper class students, but it's applicable to anyone. So invite your current clients, your prospective clients. You as consultants can absolutely join us, any of that. And so we have that, and then we have our annual FAFSA webinar that we do. And again, we're offering that on 2 different times on the same date of Tuesday, October 6th at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you are consultants, that information is on the consultant team site calendar. So it's got the Zoom registration link. Feel free to send that out to any of your prospective clients. For people who are enrolled in the program, you'll get an email about that. For people who are thinking about that and or maybe you're not connected with a consultant or with us specifically, feel free again to send us an email at the program, either to myself or to that HIFE-CPP at hife-usa.org. We'll get you that link, or you can find it on the Facebook page as well. All right, going once, going twice. So want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to ask their questions. Thank you all so very much for joining me. For those of you out there who may be affected by, gosh, there's so many things to be affected by right now, whether it's environmental or health or safety or job related or any of the above, please know that we are thinking about you. I appreciate you taking your time and spending it with me this evening to talk about the Heartland's college coaching program. I look forward to connecting with all of you in the future, and I wish you good health and safety. Have a great night. Bye-bye.